emotions and feelings. So if you want to see your emotions and feelings manifested in the physical, these will be your tears. Someone woke up crying. So these will be your tears. For example, right now, the world is crying, aka the rains that you are witnessing falling is the world's emotions and feelings condensed on a deeper level. You may not get it. Now, this is the question. Do you allow yourself to cry? Because you see, most of the times, every time a child is crying, what do you tell the child? Wacha kulia. When you are with someone and they have gone through a tough situation or circumstance, what do you tell them? After you have hurt them, you hurt them. Remember, you hurt them. But after you have hurt them, what do you tell them? You tell them, don't cry. So, where is that coming from? Where are we learning to bottle up our emotions? And is it safe to bottle up our emotions? That's the question. Now, do you let yourself cry? Are you comfortable crying in front of other people? Okay? Are you comfortable crying in front of other people? So let's have a conversation about that. Crying heals your body. Every time you cry, you heal your body. And now this goes deep. We've heard of people talking about crying for help. What are they doing? They are crying for help. It's a very wet day. Shout out to all the people who are wet this morning. It's a very wet day. So, crying releases what you can call what did you used to call them? Oxytocin, and what you other endorphins. For example, when you work out in the gym, your body releases endorphins. These are feel-good hormones. Now, when you cry, your body releases what you call oxytocin and endorphins. And these are supposed to bring you back to what you can call a parasympathetic state. So when you talk of parasympathetic, you are talking of homeostasis. We are talking of a balancing. You becoming balanced. So when you cry, you release oxytocin, you release endorphins, and these ones regulate you to a position now you come into back what you can call a balanced state, a homeostasis, a parasympathetic, whatever name you want to call it. We don't care about the names. Now, we have a culture that views crying as shameful, especially the African culture, especially when it comes to the boy child. You are told that a man is not supposed to cry. But remember, your crying can be a crying for help. It doesn't necessarily have to be crying, wailing in the physical to the point now it manifests as physical representations of your emotions and feeling manifesting. Okay? So, crying in our relationships or in our culture is viewed as, we view it as something that we need to repress or hide from. So when people are crying, they will hide. You'll see people hiding to go and cry. We cry hiding. Men cry in the bathrooms. Men will go and cry in the car, use some napkins, compose themselves, then get back to the real life like they did nothing. So we are so programmed into our DNA that the first thing that a person does when they are crying is to say, I'm sorry. If someone breaks down, the first thing they say, oh, I'm so sorry I cried. Why are you apologizing for crying? Why are we normalizing an unhealthy community? You can call it a community or whatever. That's a nice car, Audi. Why are we normalizing the abnormal? People are so deeply uncomfortable seeing someone cry. When people see someone cry, the first thing they do is to shame them. And this is because you are the one who is uncomfortable in the first place. So, because you're uncomfortable, the first response to tears is usually, don't cry. But it's not the other person, it's you. You are the problem. So you are the first person to tell someone, you don't cry. It's not because of them. It's because you yourself are uncomfortable with crying. It's so inside you that you cannot afford to see someone else cry. You know you want to cry, but you can't. This includes crying for help. So this creates a shame and stigma around a natural human response. Remember, crying is natural. Crying is a natural human response. To cry ask for help, to cry for help, to want a shoulder to lean on. That's very natural. That's very natural for you as a human. Remember, you are spirits in human bodies, light bodies. And I don't even know if my sound is okay. Sometimes nikiweka simu hapo mnasemanga iko na echo, but I'm hoping the sound is okay. Now, as babies, many of us, we grew up around parents who used to tell us to stop crying when we were upset. For example, I like giving examples. My daughter doesn't cry, and that's not a very good thing. So sometimes she'll do something, fall, and then I'm like, come here, I'm so sorry. And I'm trying to, like soothe her. And she's like, but unajua mi siliangi. And that is wrong. She's supposed to cry. She has not cried. But so I've been telling her, it's okay to express your pain. It's okay to cry also. Okay? It's also okay to cry. There's nothing wrong with crying. Because we need to know how much you are hurt. Because when you want to be that brave girl, because you don't want to cry around daddy or mommy, but we need to see you cry. Because as babies, we've had many of our parents teaching us or telling us not to cry. And you may not even teach your baby that. But your baby may look at your face and decide, oh, it's not okay to cry, without even you opening your mouth. But what you are missing, or what you are misunderstanding, or what you are not understanding, is that crying is what helps you self-regulate. You need to cry to self-regulate and calm down. So when these emotions are bent, when you have so much bent up emotions and feelings, you need to let them out. You need to cry, because that is the best way to self-regulate and calm down. Okay? Because blocking of tears actually creates a sympathetic activation. And this can even lead to illnesses later in life. Because what is crying in itself? We talk of primal instincts. We look at ourselves like animals in so many ways and shapes. Okay? So crying is a primal release for the body. For the body to shed, it needs to cry. When you need to shed because you've not been getting enough dick or pussy, so you have a calcified emissions, then when you are sleeping, you get nitri emissions. For the lady, they wake up wet. For the guys, they get what you call night emissions. And that is just on the physical side. So when it comes to releasing your emotions and all these feelings stored in your body, what you call primal release of your body, that is the best way. That is the only way you can process and release the physical tension in the body after a stressful, or what you can call a traumatic event. And you're all going through trauma. Every day you are listening to the news, the people who still watch the news. Every day you are being pushed under a lot of trauma. The prices of fuel, the prices of everything. That is very traumatic. That is very stressful. When you cannot provide for your family, especially for the men, that is very stressful. That is very traumatic. You get that lump in your throat. Okay? And the reason, hiyo kiwaru unasikianga hapa, unasikia kiwaru. Hiyo kitu nindanga kiwaru hapa is the body trying to rebalance itself. That is your throat chakra. Unasikia kiwaru on your throat chakra, your second house. Your second house is relating. Your second house is diplomatic. Your second house is how you bring things down here, how you practicalize things, how you make things matter, it is all that Taurus energy, what you call Baal or Canaan. Or between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. or when my logo as Jagawa Mudhaka is in the sky. Like right now, my logo is still in the sky like Batman, because I'm a Taurus, mid-heaven Taurus. Shout out to my spiritual predecessors. So that means that between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m., I am at my best. That is what we are talking about, Taurus time. So, ukisikia kiwaru, or when something is choking on your throat, okay? That is your body trying to rebalance itself. So it wants you to cry. It wants you to... It's that primary release. So go lock yourself in a bathroom and cry. Release all those emotions and feelings and tension that you have. Because that is how your body recalibrates and balances itself. Look at it like a factory reset. So you are factory resetting your emotions and feelings. So since you are Google scholars, Most of you are Google scholars. You don't go outside to learn things for yourself. You believe in books. You believe in teachers. It's like these people are taught by God. Yet these people went outside and learned for themselves. Research for you Google scholars shows that after crying, the parasympathetic nervous system is activated. And this is why we feel good after a good crying. This is why you feel calmer. After you have cried, you are calm. You are more relaxed. Okay? You are more at ease. After crying, you want to sleep. It doesn't matter how you started the crying. It doesn't matter how you ended up with the tears. Beautiful bodies. That doesn't justify. The fact remains that after you have cried, you are sleepy. After you have cried, you are at ease. After you have cried, you are more relaxed. You are more calmer. You have heard people going like that after crying. After the tears, that is how they go. So let yourself cry. If someone cries in front of you, pause. Instead of telling them to stop crying, just be with them. Saying nothing and having a calm presence can be an incredible gift to another person. I've been around people crying. When I'm doing my consultation, some of my one-on-one consultations, then people come to me and all they want to do is break down. And not even one, I've never told anyone, stop crying. I let them, you remember that cartoon? Obelix and Asterix, I let them break down. I let them, I let them cry. Because I know that is their body. That is their body balancing itself. That is your nervous system calibrating itself. They need to cry. So when you see someone crying in front of you, pause. Remember, in this channel, we don't ponder, we go deep. We are different on this channel. Instead of telling someone to stop crying, wacha kulia, don't tell anyone to stop crying. Stop shaming people for expressing their emotions and feelings. Let them cry. Weka tu hapo wacha alie. Just sit with them and do nothing and say nothing. Just be calm. Don't show them on your faces. And some of you want to cry with them because you know you don't cry. So most of you are just going to start crying with them, which is even better. Cry with these people. You see, when you talk of these things, people don't even understand how this thing is deep. I told you, the world right now is crying. This is the 7th intercalendar year, 13 months in a year. More shedding. Women are going to have more period na vitu kama hizo. So you also realize, because I told you the rains that you are receiving is as above, so below. This is the shedding of the tears happening in Mavado and Gaza and Mavado, Galeside, Mavado and Vibes Cartel. You know what you are talking about, okay? Be clever. We are not talking of Mavado or Vibes Cartel. You know what we are talking about when you talk about what is happening. There's a lot of people who have a lot of bombs being dropped on children. So now, all those tears is what you are seeing flooding. Okay, umeza sema, but what do you mean hii ni upuzi? Ni upuzi? Ask yourself this. How comes the Earth song is back? So you are receiving what you are calling El Nino, and for some reason, the Earth song, ya Michael Jackson, is back. Because as a collective, we are all crying. We are all crying. We are all shedding as a collective. The whole world is crying. Okay? The whole world is in tears. But you have to see it. So, we have a collection of group of people who will always keep you distracted. Okay? They'll always keep you distracted from what is happening on the ground. Ignore the news on TV. Go outside and witness for yourself that the world is in pain. And not the metaphysical world, the gay or whatever you are. Look at people. Look, do a social study. Do what you call social experiments. I love doing social experiments. Just go somewhere and sit and observe the people. Just observe the people. See the people crying. They may not be crying physically. Look at their faces. Look at their body, Look at their body language. Look at how people are behaving. Look at the people who use public transport. Look at how they are responding to the conductor. Look at how everyone is lashing out at everyone. Everyone is angry. Everyone is angry. But you don't even know why. And it's time to cry. This is the best time to cry. You can go dancing in the rain, story for another day. Now, always notice how different your body feels after you let the tears flow. I told you, we cry. How many times have I cried this year? 2023, year 7. Let me see. I think 3 times. Or maybe 4 times. With a good reason. Now, take some deep breaths afterwards. So now, this is now my tip, because we don't just like talking about these things. We like giving people tips. So this is the tip on how to cry. I know you think you know how to cry. Shout out to everyone in the comments, Wabopal for the roses. And we said when you come to this page, it's always good to communicate to each other. Talk to each other in the comment section. Check up on each other. How have you been doing? And we are all a soul group. We are all related. Now, this is a tip for people who need to cry after this live. And if you want to cry on the live without your face, you can request. We can allow you as a guest to just come here and cry. Okay? We can allow you to come here and just cry as a guest without showing your faces, because you may need it. Now, notice how different your body feels after you let the tears flow. So every time you cry, don't just cry and keep moving. Now, always listen to your body. How different does it feel after you have let the tears flow? Take some deep breaths. So this is called emotional processing. Deep inhalations through the nose, out through the mouth. So this is called emotional processing. You are processing how your body feels after you have left the ears or the tears flow. So this is going to help you develop what you call more resilience. Meaning, maybe the next time you won't have to cry over that thing. You'll have overcome that thing. Okay? I went to my morning meditation. I couldn't get far. I just started crying. Shout out to I Start with Congo. So, this is the question. Do you allow or do you let yourself to cry? Are you comfortable crying in front of other people? Because if you are not, then you are not self-regulating and you are doing yourself a huge, what you can call, disservice, because you're not allowing yourself to shed or to self-regulate. I have to take this call. So we are back. We had to take that call. It was important. So yeah, so that's the thing. So crying is good for you. Allow yourself to self-regulate your emotions and feelings by allowing yourself to cry. Stop shaming people for crying. Stop shaming people for self-regulating or for their bodies going into their primal state of recalibrating or balancing themselves up. Sasa, a shout out to you. Let me see if there's any question about that. Yeah, one feels lightheaded for sure when you cry. Shout out to the roses. Someone says Jenga, shout out for doing Lemon Crush. Hugs and everything. Shout out to Mokami. Millennial dads and moms will start criticism on who is making fun. Yeah, let them make fun. Someone was crying last night, 1-0. Yeah, the stigma is that men are not crying. So the men not crying results in the men being unable to regulate their emotions. And if a man cannot regulate the emotion, making them emotionally immature, they express this with the people, places, situations, or circumstances that surround them. So they take this thing out on people who love them or people who love them, family na vitu kaa hizo. So yeah, shout out to that. So there's no question. Shout out to Juguna. Juguna joined. So if there's nothing to add on to that, we can end the live, start another one immediately, because that was supposed to be alive. So we are going to end this live now, and then we are going to restart another one. There's a reason why I have to restart another one. So I'm restarting now. I'm ending this one and restart another one. Shout out to everyone.